Do you get frustrated when you speak and can't seem to command the respect and attention that you deserve? Or you feel like you're leaving money on the table because you do not know how to communicate your ideas, express yourself in situations that matter, even though you know that you are talented and qualified for that opportunity. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 techniques from the framework that has helped me become a powerful speaker. These are the same techniques that I used in my career as a television and radio broadcaster. And it has not only helped me improve my profession, it has helped me in my business life as well as my social life. High value woman, you will find yourself in either business environment or social environment where you have to communicate and interact with people. And every time you open your mouth to speak, you are selling yourself. So how you communicate your idea, how you express yourself can either repel people from you or attract people to you. And I have learned this the hard way. You see, when I started my career as a television and radio broadcaster, I had this crippling fear of speaking. Your life revolves around the kind of relationship you're able to build, because success doesn't come from how talented or how qualified you are. Success comes from how you're able to build high-value relationships with people. And one of the ways you build high-value relationships with people is how you speak, how you communicate. Now, imagine you meet someone for the first time, maybe at a social event. Ask you, tell me about yourself. That simple question, the way you answer that question, the response you give to that question can either attract people to you and make them want to know more about you, or it can repel people from you. And when I realized this simple thing, I knew that I needed to work on my communication skills. Number 1, start with a service mindset. Every time you want to communicate with someone, whether you're speaking to an audience of 1 or you're speaking to an audience of 100, the first thing that should come to your mind is what's in it for them? What is that impact that they desire from me? When I meet people for the first time, I don't go in thinking about what I want to get from them. I ask myself, what do I have that can be of value to the next person? So when you approach conversations, when you approach communication with a service mindset, you are going in first with a mindset to give. One of the things I realized that can help us communicate effectively, can help you speak powerfully, is first of all working on your thought process about what you want to give. We go into conversations, into gatherings without having a clear intention of why we are going into that conversation. And because we don't have a clear intention, we tend to go in and not give the best version of ourselves. The same applies to when you are communicating with someone or when you're speaking with someone. Ask yourself, what's my intention for this conversation? What's my intention with this interaction that I want to have with that person? And then ask yourself, how can I add value to that person? When you think of it from a service mindset, your thought process will shift. At that point, you are well put together, your thought process is put together, and you are given the best version of yourself. 2, set yourself up to win. I know a lot of people might have the fear of public speaking, and you say to yourself, I can stand in front of an audience to share my ideas or to share my expertise. But the truth is, we have trained ourselves to have a fear of something. Speaking in front of a crowd, yes, can be scary. But do you know that you can also tell yourself what you want your audience to feel and not what you feel? If you want to set yourself to win in any situation, you're going out to speak, whether you're speaking to a crowd, whether you're speaking in a one-on-one engagement, you're networking. The most important thing you want to do is tell yourself, I might feel nervous, I might be shy, but I will not let my audience feel that way. So you need to tell yourself what you want your audience to feel and see, not what you are feeling. So even if you feel shy, you feel nervous, that's your feeling within you. What do you want your audience to feel and see? I want my audience to be excited. I want my audience to be empowered just by listening to me speak. I want my audience to be wowed. I want my audience to take something away when they meet me, when they hear me speak. That's the thought process you should have. That's the thought process that you should go into that conversation with. You think that you are afraid, you're shy, you're nervous, and you carry that energy into a conversation, you will subconsciously pass that same feeling to your audience. You make them feel nervous, you make them feel afraid, you make them start to doubt your capability. So you want to ensure that your audience are feeling and seeing what you want them to see, not what you are feeling. You have to also believe that you have value to offer. Your expertise, your ideas, there's someone out there who needs to hear your story, who needs to hear your journey. Only you can tell that journey just the way you have gone through it. So instead of telling yourself, oh, I'm nervous, I'm afraid, I'm shy, tell yourself, I am excited. I am elated, because it's what you tell yourself that you will subconsciously build up and show to your audience. Number 3, stick with your superpower. One of the things that has made me improve my communication and build my ability to speak powerfully is that I stick to what I know. I speak to what I understand. I speak to where my strength, my talent, my skills, my expertise are. I do not go into the field, or let me use medicine as example. I do not go to the field of medicine to speak and brag and talk about what I have no idea about. My strength will not show there because I don't know the subject. When you tell me to talk about etiquette, to talk about elegance, to talk about self-transformation, to talk about communication, to talk about self-development, I will talk about it in my sleep because that's my area of expertise. That's my area of strength. And one of the things that makes you a powerful lady who speaks confidently in any situation is that you are speaking from your place of strength. You are speaking from your place of expertise, and you have grounded yourself in it. Build your craft. Develop your craft. Don't stay with only what you have learned in school. Continue to expand your knowledge in your field so that when you go out to social event, when you go out to professional events, and people are asking questions about your field, you can confidently speak from that place. Because when you are able to speak confidently from your expertise, from your superpower, you sound more confident, you sound more powerful, you sound in control, you sound like a lady who is intelligent, who is smart, who knows what she's talking about. Another area of speaking from your superpower is your ability to speak in a concise manner. It's one thing to be knowledgeable about your craft. It's one thing to know your craft so well. It's another thing to be able to structure that expertise of yours in a way that when you are speaking about it, when you are delivering it to people, they can completely pick your message, put it together and say, what I learned from this person is this, this, and this. And it's so simple, so powerful. Speak in 3 bullet points. Speak in 3 value points. Let me use my field for example. If I'm to speak on social elegance and etiquette, I will pick a subject, the big idea. Let's use how to socialize with high value people, for example. So if I'm talking about the topic, how to socialize with high value people, and I want to share ideas with people on this subject, that's the first idea. I will break it down into 3 value points. That way, when I am speaking about that subject, I'm speaking from value 1, value 2, and value 3. The next time they remember what I talked about, they will remember what I said because I broke it down into 3 value points for them to remember. Number 4, serve with story. Storytelling is one of the most powerful tools to speaking effectively in any situation. This is something I learned over the years in my career as a television and radio broadcaster. There was a time I didn't know how to tell a story. I basically will focus on my subject, my expertise, and I would just blot everything out. But I didn't realize that the more I was giving value, the more people were not connecting with what I was saying, because they needed a story that they can connect, they can relate to. It was then I started learning how to tell stories, how to be able to tie my points around a story, so that when I'm speaking, whether it's at a social event or a networking event or at a professional field, I am sharing relatable story that makes my message stick to the person I'm speaking with. Learning how to tell your story from a point of impact, from a point of value, from a point of experience, will let people not only be loyal to you, they will connect to your journey. Number 5, slow down your speech. If you are a fast talker, I'm sure that you have been in situations where someone will say, can you slow it down? I want to get what you're saying. You need to learn how to pace yourself when you speak, because when you speak too fast, you project an energy of nervousness and lack of confidence. When you speak too slow, you project an energy of nervousness. So it's important that you learn how to balance your speaking pattern by ensuring that you're not speaking too fast and you're not speaking too slow. Speaking at a moderate level helps people connect with you. It also helps you take your journey, your story, your message from a point to another point, and then back to another point, and then back again. That's how communication is. It's not a flat out statement where you just make a statement and it just goes flat. No, you have to go like a heel when you're communicating and when you're speaking. It makes your topic, your story, more interesting to listen to. Number 6, speak to one person. This really applies when you're speaking to an audience of maybe 10 or 100. Even when you're speaking to one person, it's always important that you speak to that one person. Now, this is how it works. Imagine you are on a date with a friend and both of you are having a conversation. And while you're having the conversation, your friend is on her phone while she's talking to you. So she looks at you a bit, she goes back to her phone. She looks at you a bit, she goes back to her phone. How would you feel? Insulted, right? You will feel like your friend is not interested in you. She's not paying attention to you. The same applies to when you're speaking to others and when you're speaking to an audience. They feel that you're not talking to them because you're not talking to one person. So if you're speaking to someone or you're speaking to a crowd or speaking to an audience, you want to make sure that you are tailoring your message to that one person and looking them in the eye. You want to maintain eye contact. If you are sharing 3 different value points, you share one value point to one person and speak to them and say, you could connect with your audience even much more when you do that. Here's an example of how that works. Let's assume I'm talking to 100 people now. I will start with saying, you are the most important person in your life. And it's the way you treat yourself, the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself will determine how the world will treat you. This message applies to every other person. You know that you deserve love, you deserve attention, you deserve respect, but you have to learn how to give that first to yourself before you demand it from others. You see what I'm doing? I look at you and I target my message to you. When I'm talking about another message, I look at someone else and I target that message to that one person. Even though I'm speaking to an audience of 100, even though I have thousands of people in front of me, I speak to that one person, you, because I want you to connect with what I'm talking about. I want you to see yourself in my message, in my story. Number 7, spark a movement with a call to action. I say this to everyone. The same way you come into a conversation with an intention, you must end the conversation with value. You must end the conversation on a high note. You must leave your audience, leave the person you're speaking with better than you met them. This is something I learned in my career as a television and radio broadcaster. Every time we had to end a show, you do not end the show the same way you started. You end the show higher than how you started. You give your audience something to take home with, an action to move with, something to remember you for. So whether you're speaking to one person, you're speaking to hundreds of people, ask yourself, what do I want my audience to remember about me after this conversation is over? How do I want them to feel about my message and about me when this conversation is over? What do I want my audience to do right after I finish speaking? When you have that thought process, you're able to change and craft your message and craft your conversation in a way that every time you're ending a conversation, you're ending in a way that gives people something to do. Like saying, if you haven't subscribed to this channel and you want to learn how to become a high-value, elegant woman, you want to step into your queenly self in all areas of your life, then you should subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell so that every time I post a new video, you will be the first to get it. You see, that's a call to action. Learning how to end a conversation is just as important as how you started it. Now, I want to hear from you. What area of your communication skills would you love to improve on? And which of the techniques that I shared with you today will you start practicing right now? Share your comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, then you will love the next video I'm about to share with you. This will completely transform how you connect with people every time you speak.